Welcome to part 2. So the key to success in setting up the rest of the essay is essentially constructing well-organized and formatted paragraphs. The requirements state that you need to answer whether or not you agree or disagree overall with the author, and also discuss whether you agree or disagree with the author's worldview, bias, and assumptions. According to the rubric, these are your target points. It includes the author's full name, title, copyright date, and the introduction. Well, we did that in part 1 in your summary. Is well organized, clear, and easy to understand, double-spaced, indentations, appropriate headings, and consists of several well-developed paragraphs from 8 to 10 sentences. So now that we've done the very first paragraph, let's take a look at how to set up the body paragraphs and the conclusion of your essay. Let's review first the structure of a good paragraph. As you recall, this is the structure of a good paragraph. To the left, you see circles indicating the structure of the paragraph. To the right, there is an explanation specific to this response essay. Take a moment to refresh your memory. Okay, so the different parts. We've got a topic sentence, major details, minor details, a concluding sentence, and transition words. If you look to the left here, this is what each of those means specifically to this response essay. So if you need more text-based evidence or want to prove a different point in your paragraph, and you're like, you know what, one major detail isn't going to do it. I need another detail, or I'm switching and talking about both worldview and bias in the same paragraph. What you're going to do is you're going to repeat the blue and green area here until you get to the concluding sentence and until you've proven everything that you've needed to prove. So since there is a word limit on this essay, you may need to combine two of the concepts, maybe worldview and bias together, bias and assumption, worldview and assumption, in order to stay within the sentence limit and the word count. Okay, so now that we know the basic parts of the paragraph, the next step is to take your planner and use it to help you build your body paragraphs. Yep, you're actually going to use your planner. So what I've done here is I've done my own planner, and I've done it based on the article in the Week 7 folder. And so here what you're going to see is in the circles, you will see a formula for perfect paragraph structure. Of course, in your writing, you'll have to add to it to make it cohesive, but essentially, you'll want to explain what is the author's idea, give text-based evidence, explain how the quote shows the concept, and then finish it with your own ideas. So go ahead and take a look at the graphic. While it's difficult to see the actual quotes from the text, sorry about that, you can see how the structure of the planner follows the structure of a good paragraph. All you really need to do is add on your explanation a little bit and your topic and your concluding sentences. You've already done the grunt work, so now it's time to put it all together. Okay, so if I'm looking at my planner, I'm noticing here 3 areas of bias. So this is going to be our example. I think I can explain the author's bias and my own bias in a pretty detailed way by just using one of the examples. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the first example in my essay. Now, if I didn't feel really confident, I might use the other examples as well, but it's up to you to make that decision. So in the article, I found that the author in this particular article is biased against B students. Okay, so clearly I'm using a different article than what you're used to. So I found a quote that's going to fit well, and then I thought about my friends who are B students and are actually really, really successful. I guess I must share the author's bias because I don't think that A students are really only the ones that you can be successful. So, I've thought it through. I've looked at the author's bias. I looked at the evidence. I've analyzed myself, used metacognition. I've done my thinking, and now I just have to write it out. So when I put it together in the format right here, the paragraph is going to look like this. Next, Adam appears to have bias toward B students finding their niche in life. He considers, since they make up the majority of students in universities, that they need to be working on something they will prosper at. They do not require to be following the brainy group of college students taking the top student curriculums, but should be concentrating on courses they will excel at, such as entrepreneurship. Wouldn't it make more sense to teach B students something useful like entrepreneurship, the author states? Here, the author shows his bias in believing that B students are simply not able to be successful scholastically. Instead, a different path is necessary for these students. While Adams does judge B students unfairly, he does have a point. I believe it makes a lot of sense to educate these students in not just entrepreneurship, but also other vocational type courses. Several of my friends have taken courses in landscaping, nursing, EMT, and other courses that are not top student programs. They are very confident with their careers and are prosperous people. A few of my friends have seized the opportunity to turn their landscaping work into personal landscaping businesses. So absolutely, I approve of finding one's niche in life, even if one does not shoot for top tier. Shoot for what one is comfortable with. Okay, so now I need to figure out whether or not I've made myself clear. Okay, so here I got to check it. Have I explained the author's bias fully? Have I given text-based evidence? Have I stated my own bias? Have I backed up that example with my own personal thoughts and experiences? Because remember, that's what the whole essay is asking you to do. So let's take a look and color code it and see if I fit the format. Yep, the answer is yes. All right, so I started with a topic sentence that's going to be really important. I've explained, all right, this is the concept that I'm looking for. I'm going with bias here, and told what the author's bias is here. In the green area, I explain the concept. In this case, it's the author's bias, right? So I use text-based evidence, and even though it's out of order from our original format, it still works. In the blue area, I used a transition word, and I connected my own bias with the author and explained it with a little story about my own life experiences. I wrapped it up with a concluding sentence that bottom lines my ideas. Now, once I've written an overall response paragraph, covered worldview, bias, and assumptions, I'm ready to submit my paper, right? Yeah, right? I'm done. I just have to do this for the overall. I got to do it for worldview. I got to do it for assumption. And then I put it all together and it's over, right? Yeah. Nope, there's one more step. Take a look at the rubric. Okay. The rubric, remember, is how you're being graded. So take a look at what you're being graded on. Did you briefly summarize the original text? Do you have insightful and thought-provoking reactions to the text? And do you contribute to the discussion of the ideas started by the author? So in other words, are you continuing what he started? Do you support the response with meaningful examples from the text, include personal opinions and experiences, and have you, number one, address all of the questions posed in the prompt? If so, then guess what? You're ready for the concluding paragraph. If not, edit. Did I say edit? Yeah, I meant edit. Yep. Edit your essay and make sure you've answered everything. So if you're ready to move on, let's look again at what a good conclusion looks like. Now this is part of your packet. And in your packet, you have a lot of tips on how to construct a really good conclusion. All right, so the conclusion is where you can really put all of your ideas together. Evaluate whether or not the author makes a strong argument. What is the overall point you yourself are trying to make? The last sentence of your conclusion should be pretty powerful and should tell the reader what your bottom line is. This is your most thoughtful paragraph. For more tips, go ahead and look here on this slide or look in your packet for the concluding paragraph ideas. Okay, so now am I done? Yeah, you're done. So our closing thoughts, guys, just don't forget. These few tips just to keep you on the track to success. Use your planner. Don't forget to discuss the text in terms of the concepts. So Tell me what the author's worldview is. Tell me what your worldview is. Always watch your format and be mindful that you have a topic sentence telling me what you're going to be talking about in that particular paragraph. Did I mention format? I hope I mentioned format. Okay, guys, take it one step at a time. So just go through it paragraph by paragraph, all right? Be methodical. Make sure that you proofread, all right? You're allowed to use I and me in this particular essay. But remember, no you, your, or yourself. Second person is never allowed. And then check the directions. Wait a second, the what? The directions? What do you mean by the directions? Oh, you mean that first page of the packet? Yeah, check those directions. It has your format. It has all the requirements on it. So just check yourself before you wreck yourself, like I always say. All right, guys, I think you can do it. And I'm really, really positive that you're going to turn in some really great responses. So good luck. Always remember, you can always contact me. And, happy writing. Enjoy, guys.